This game was played in 1985 between Wilhelm Steinitz, the first world champion, and Kurt von Bardeleben. And if you search for this game online, you will find it under the name of the Battle of Hastings. But the first time I saw this game was in some book about old masters, and the author named this game the bravest rook in chess history, and this is the name I prefer, and soon you'll see why. Jose Raul Capablanca said about this game that it was one of the last masterpieces of the old age. So let's see the game. Steinitz is white and von Bardeleben is black. e4, e5, knight to f3, knight to c6, bishop to c4, bishop to c5, the Italian game, c3, knight to f6, d4, e takes d4, c takes d4, and now bishop b4 check. Knight to c3, and if black would take on e4 here, we would go into the main line of the Greco attack. But Bardeleben knows better, and he plays d5. E takes d5, knight takes on d5, and here Steinitz castles. And black can't really win a pawn here, because if he goes knight takes c3, b takes c3, bishop takes c3, attacking the rook, simply bishop to a3, locking the black king in the center of the board is a lot better for white. And if, for example, bishop takes c3, b takes c3, knight takes c3, then queen b4 is crushing, attacking f7 and also attacking the knight on c3. So here, Bardeleben plays bishop to e6. And here Steinitz develops bishop to g5, attacking the queen, bishop back to b7. And here Steinitz forces a series of trades to improve his position. Bishop takes on d5, bishop takes on d5, knight takes on d5, queen takes on d5, and now bishop takes on e7. Knight takes on e7 and rook e1. And here we can see that black king is stuck in the middle of the board, and for the time being he can't castle. And black tries f7. He will try to play king to f7 and castle artificially. Queen to e2, threatening checkmate on e7. Queen to d7, defending. And here Steinitz plays rook to c1. A very sneaky move. This was played a couple of months after Steinitz lost his world championship title to Emanuel Lasker, and everybody thought that the old master was ready to retire, and well, throughout his entire chess career, his games weren't very imaginative. So instead of rook d1, he played rook to c1 here, and here Bardeleben probably should have went for king f7 and trying to get his king to safety. Instead, he played pawn to c6. Maybe he thought that if king to f7, then queen to c4 would pose him some problems as he attacks the c7 pawn, but knight to d5 probably holds all of this. But nevertheless, he played c6, and this is where Steinitz proves everyone wrong and shows his imagination. Plays pawn to d5, and this is very troublesome for black. If he allows white to capture on c6, white will have the d file open, and this will be crushing. And black can't really capture the pawn with the knight as it's pinned. He can't move the queen because of the mate on e7, so the only thing he really has is pawn takes on d5. And here Steinitz shows why the pawn sacrifice is good. He improves his knight position, knight to d4, and is preparing knight to e6. King to f7 finally, and Steinitz plays knight to e6, and this knight becomes a monster. And here Bardeleben plays rook h to c8, finally bringing that rook into the game. But as you'll see, it's far too late for that. Queen to g4, threatening on g7. And black has to defend this somehow. And Bardeleben tries pawn to g6. And here is the start of a beautiful combination. Knight to g5, check, pinning the queen. and as the knight cannot be captured, the only way to defend the queen is king back to e8 to the starting position. And this is why I prefer the name the bravest rook in chess history, as Steinitz plays rook takes on e7 check. And this is quite crushing, as the rook cannot be taken. For example, if the queen takes the rook, then simply rook takes on c8, and this is winning. Rook has to capture queen. After the queen captures, white is simply a piece up, and there is no defense. For example, queen to d8, queen captures here, the king captures, and knight to f3 is simply up a piece. So after rook to e7 check, even the king cannot capture the rook, as we have the following line: queen to b4 check, and here king has to go to e8, rook to e1 check, and this is crushing. King to d8 and knight to e6, and the king has no squares. The knight has to be taken, and simply rook takes queen, and there is no more back rank mate because the rook will simply go back to e1. So after rook to e7, something had to be played here. So Bartolomeo played king to f8, and here this brave rook continues his journey. He plays rook to f7 check, and the rook again cannot be taken because of the same lines. King to g8, and the rook goes on. Rook to g7 check. Again, the rook cannot be taken because black loses too much. King to h8, and here Steinitz plays rook takes on h7 check. And this is actually when where von Bartholeben he didn't resign, he just left the playing hall. And this is something he was known to do quite often. He didn't resign the game, he just left, and he waited for his time to run out. And later, this type of behavior was called to pull a Bartholeben. So Steinitz had to wait for his time to run out, and after the time ran out, this is the line he showed to the reporters. So the king has to go back, king to g8, and now the rook follows him. Rook continues his journey, rook to g7 check. And here, if king goes to f8, then simply knight to h7 check wins straight away. If king to d8, then queen takes on d7 is checkmate. And if king takes the rook, then simply queen takes on d7, winning both rooks, also crushing. So the only move is king back to h8, but the problem here is that the h file is open. And now we have this queen h4 check, forcing the king to take the rook. So we have king takes this brave rook on g7. We have queen to h7 check, king to f8, queen to h8 check, only move, king to d7, queen to g7 check, king to e8. We have queen to g8 check, king has to go back to e7. Now we have queen f7 check. Here we have king to d8, and we have queen to f8 check. The queen has to block, queen to e8. Here we have knight to f7 check. The king has to go to d7, only move. And this very, very nice queen to d6 checkmate. So yeah, that's the game. Like I said, it was played a couple of months after Steinitz lost his world championship title to Emanuel Lasker, and he was eager to show everyone that he still had what it takes to play great chess. And as he did, he played this game that went down in history by the name of the Battle of Hastings, by the place where it was played in Hastings, England. But I think the Bravest Rook in chess history is a much better name for this game. So thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it, and see you soon.